All right, so here we are. I'm starting my first video diary entry. I don't like to write, and I saw we can do these on video. So, wrapping up our first week of readings and class discussion. Real interesting discussion. Really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the readings. Been talking about the difference between functionalists and neo-Marxists and their views on how education exists, especially when pertaining to different types of human capital, be it political capital, cultural capital, social capital. Real interesting things to think about, especially with my own life and upbringing, like what kind of capital I possess. I was actually laughing as I was reading the readings. I really like to listen to music while I study and work, and I was listening to classical music, and I was like, oh my God, this is my cultural capital. I'm listening to Bach and Beethoven, this culture that is promoted, especially in education, my own education, the Renaissance, European history, like all those, classical artists were promoted uh, as kind of the high culture of what you want to, go to the opera. So that was an interesting use of cultural capital as I was actually reading about cultural capital. So I kind of enjoyed that. I enjoyed the discussion between functionalists and neo-Marxists. I've, heard or I've learned about the Marxism as how it pertains to capitalism, and it was really interesting to hear that theory applied to education and human society and how it's being imposed with the type of education that is being promoted in the developing world. Um, but personally, I guess in the grand scheme of things, I hope I kind of view myself as a functionalist in that, humanity were developing exponentially if you look at human history, and as needs arise, it's going to be a driving factor to find people to fulfill those needs. And is there conditions of how aid is distributed? I think, of course, but at the end of the day, the progress of the world is kind of going to be a driving factor of how the world operates. And education plays a huge role in that as we become more technologically innovative as a species. So it was a real interesting class. We're looking forward to some more discussions, and we'll keep doing this video blog.